Good morning po sa lahat ng mga kadete nationwide from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Welcome po sa pinaka-last part po sa discussion natin in question document examination. Ang pinaka-last topic po na pinag-usapan natin in the last episode, sa episode 2 po, was on process and signature verification. Yun po ang pinaka-last. In this episode po mga kadete, lahat po ng mga topics remaining will be discussed herein. Kasali po dito yung tinatawag natin forgery identification, counterfeiting, tsaka yung mga equipment na ginagamit po sa question document examination. Now, ano bang ibig sabihin ng forgery, mga kadets? When we say forgery, ibig sabihin may authentic na dokumento. Okay? May authentic na document. You want to reproduce a document which is a replica to the original one, and then you pretend that this document or that document that you made is authentic or is genuine. Ano ibig sabihin ng forgery? May original. You reproduce the original and make it appear that the second copy is the original one, where in reality it is not. Ang tawag po noon is forgery. So kung basahin po natin yung definition, it is an act of creating or altering a document or other object with the intent to defraud or deceive. It involves the false making or material alteration of a legal instrument with the intent to deceive someone into believing it's genuine. So again, ang punto nito ang keywords po natin is to make it appear, to make the document appear as if it is original. Okay? Yun po ang intensyon ng forgery. Iba yung forgery, iba din po yung falsification of documents na pinag-usapan natin sa part 1. When you say falsification of documents, it focuses on the document's accuracy and integrity. Diba? Pag falsification of documents, it focuses on the document's accuracy and integrity. Okay? Pero pag forgery, it focuses on the authenticity of the document. When you say authenticity, kung original ba, kung genuine ba. Pero kung ang focus is on the accuracy or the integrity of the document, that is what we call as falsification of documents. I hope naintindihan po ang pagkaiba between falsification and forgery. Ang forgery din po can also be used synonymously with fraudulent signature or spurious document. Now, pag ang reviewer po natin hindi bikuino, posibleng may 4 lang po na categories of forgery na makikita nyo sa material. Okay? Especially yung sa mga libro, may 3 lang nga eh. Yung iba 3 lang. Pero actually, yung updated po nito, may 5 po tayong categories of forgery. Okay? Sabi ko yun po talagang kumpleto yan. And in some of the categories, may mga subtypes po. Explain natin ito isa-isa para mas maintindihan. Okay? Pag ang isang forger, wala siyang model. When I say model, wala siyang basihan. I hope you understand me. Wala siyang signature na pwede niyang basihan sa pag-forge. Klaro ba? Wala siyang original na signature na pwede niyang i-imitate. Okay, I think that's the correct explanation. Wala siyang original na signature. Walang original na signature na pwede niyang i-imitate. He just signed directly and pretend that that signature is the original signature. Ang tawag po doon is simple or spurious forgery. Para mas maintindihan, ganito po. Nung araw, nung nasa college pa kami, some of my classmates are very lazy in attending some of the university activities. Now, nung araw, pag hindi ka makapag-log-in, pag start ng activity, may attendance yan. At the end of the activity, another attendance, 2 attendance na. Pag hindi ka nakapag-sign sa unang attendance, magkano yung babayarin? 50 pesos, penalty yan, fine. And then, pag closing ng activity, hindi mag-sign uli, hindi ka nakapag-sign, another 50. Total of, magkano na? 100 pesos. Eh, yung activities in a semester, aabot yan ng 20 activities minimum. So, pag wala ka, you multiply 20 times 100, ang laki po ng babayarin mo at the end of the semester. So, yung mga classmates ko, magpasuyo po sa another classmate. Sabihin nila, kahit absent sila ha, Brad, ikaw na lang mag-sign sa name ko. Basically, yung classmate na best friend niya, hindi niya alam kung ano po ba talaga ang detalye or characteristics sa original signature ng absentee. So, ang gawin ng best friend, automatic, he will just sign directly on the name of his best friend. But in reality, wala siyang binabasihan, wala siyang signature na kanyang ini-imitate. Ang tawag po doon sa signature na ginamit niya, we call that one as spurious forgery or simple forgery. Ibig sabihin, wala kang basihan, wala kang model that you tend to imitate. Yun po ha. Pero pag may model ka, pwedeng tatawagin natin yang simulated or freehand imitation forgery. Executed po ito purely by simulation. Bakit may simulation? Ay, ibig sabihin ng simulation, nagpa-practice ka. Okay? Sina-simulate mo. Okay? You practice as if you want to perfect the details of the original signature. Ang simulated forgery or freehand imitation forgery, may dalawang subtypes yan. Una, simulated with the model before the forger. Pangalawa, simulated freehand forgery technique. Ano ba ang pagkakaiba sa dalawa? Simple lang. Sa una, simulated with the model before the forger, ang gagawin ng isang tao, may model, kukuha siya ng pencil, okay? Kukuha siya ng lapis, tapos, basing on the model, he will create a signature. Lapis muna ha, pencil muna. Pag pencil muna, after the pencil, of course may marka yan. Yung marka sa pencil, may erase lang yan. Yung marka ng pencil, after, pag na-perfect na yung details, ang gagawin niya, i-cover niya ngayon ng ink from the ball pen. Kuha niyo po. Tawag dyan, simulated with the model before the forger. Or pangalawa, under the first subtype, andyan yung model, automatic, he will sign basing upon the model signature. Automatic, he will work on the ball pen. O yun po, under the first one yan. So dito again, sa simulated with the model before the forger, pag ang isang tao, gumamit muna siya ng pencil, nag-trace siya sa signature, nag-sign siya basing on the model, using the pencil. After having the pencil, yung marka ng pencil, he covered it with the marking of the ink. Ang tawag po doon, indirect. Okay? Indirect under the first subtype. Pero pag gumamit siya immediately, without using a pencil, gumamit siya immediately using a pen, gumamit siya ng pen, taking a look at the model, and then he signed, he made a signature basing on the model. Ang tawag po doon, direct. Okay? Direct, pag dumiretso ka using the pen. Pag gumamit ka muna ng pencil, ang tawag doon, indirect. Ang pagkaroon ng model, under this first type, we call that one as simulated with the model before the forger, which can be direct or indirect. I hope naintindihan. Pero pa sa simulated freehand forgery technique, ang gagawin ng isang tao, magpa-practice muna. Okay? 'Di ba sa Manila, saan ba yung sa Recto, 'di ba sa Recto? May mga kakilala ko hindi graduate ng high school, pumunta ng Recto. Nagpagawa ng diploma, automatic, yung signature ng principal ng eskwelahan, talagang kopyang-kopya. Sa simulated freehand forgery, magpa-practice muna siya. After na-perfect niya yung pag-imitate, doon na. Automatic, he will work on the final document. So, ang tawag po doon is simulated freehand forgery. Hindi ka gumagamit ng pencil, automatic, nagpa-practice ka lang. After practicing for several times, and then you go directly to the document, sign with the model at hand. Ang tawag po doon, simulated freehand forgery. Pero yung sa simple forgery wala tayong model. I'd like to repeat it. Okay, next. Aside from simulated at saka yung simple, may tinatawag din po tayong traced forgery. Okay? Ang traced forgery, tinatawag din po itong traced signature. Bakit traced? Traced in a sense that you create a signature by a tracing process. Now, may dalawang pamamaraan po sa pag-trace sa isang signature. Una, using a transmitted light. Okay, transmitted light ang gagawin. Let us say, kukuha ka ngayon ng bond paper. Clean sheet of bond paper. Tapos, ilagay mo doon sa second page yung may original na signature. Ang tawag sa amo ani sa Bisaya, palamak. Sa if the original document is in contact with the fresh bond paper through a transmitted light, makikita mo talaga yung detalye, yung characteristic ng signature. Tapos, you write in accordance to the tracing, accordance to the characteristics that can be reflected by the transmitted light. Okay? So, tawag sa tracing na yan is direct. Pwede din po gagamit tayo ng carbon paper. Nasa taas yung original signature. Lagyan natin ng carbon paper sa second page. After the carbon paper, lagay natin yung fresh na bond paper. I-trace natin yung signature, original signature. Pag-trace natin, the moment we put pressure on the tracing, mag-create yan ng mark, the same markings that we followed on the original signature. Mag-create siya on the fresh bond paper, on the fresh page, kung saan natin pwedeng ilagay yung forged signature. Ang tawag po doon, pag gumamit tayo ng carbon paper, indirect tracing. Pero pag transmitted light lang, may fresh bond paper ka, especially yung thin na bond paper, ilagay mo on top of the signature that you are going to forge. Nako, you can easily trace. But then again, yung smoothness, yung rhythm of the handwriting will be absent. Kulang po siya. Yun po talaga ang totoo dyan. Nung araw nga, kasi hindi kami marunong mag-drawing eh. Hindi kami marunong mag-drawing. So pag yung teacher namin magsasabi, you draw a Carabao or you draw a cow, napakahirap niyan. So ano gagawin? Kukuha kami ng libro na may picture ng Carabao or may picture ng cow. Tapos kukuha kami ng bond paper, ilagay namin yung bond paper on top of the picture. Tapos using a light, we can actually trace kung ano yung linya na dapat naming sundin to form a particular image. O yun po, ang tawag doon, direct tracing. Pero pag i-apply natin sa signature, direct tracing pa din po. Ang type of signature is traced forgery. Okay? So I hope naintindihan mga kaditi ha. I'm really trying my best para mas maintindihan po ang topic natin ha. Sunod, forgery by means of a stamp facsimile of a genuine or model. Creating a fraudulent copy of a signature using a stamp or similar device. This method aims to replicate the appearance of the genuine signature without the signer's direct involvement. Kaya nga, napaka-delikado yung gumagamit po ng stamp facsimile. Kasi po, tamad, ayaw nang mag-exert ng effort sa pag-sign ng dokumento, kukuha na lang ng stamp facsimile tapos automatic stamp na lang. But in reality, pwede yang ma-imitate, especially pag ang signature natin hindi komplikado. Number one, pwedeng nakawin yung stamp facsimile mo and then the forger will use your stamp facsimile in acknowledging certain documents. Or number two, kukuha yung forger ng somebody who will create a rubber stamp facsimile and then imitate your signature. So, pwede yan. So, that is why delikado. I do not use stamp facsimile. I really use pen in signing. Pero yung iba, stamp facsimile na lang. Right? Sunod, ang panglima po, ito yung pinaka-latest. Forgery by computer scanning. Involves using a scanner to create a digital copy of a document which is then altered using computer software and potentially reprinted or distributed electronically. Again, mga kadete, ang e-signature po is considered to be admissible. Okay na po yan. Right? Noong araw, pag mag-sign ka using electronic, hindi siya pwede. Pero ngayon, pwede na po. Especially in our school na talagang electronic na. Pag-sign ng waiver, electronic. Pag-sign ng consent, electronic. Lahat-lahat po ng signature, electronic na po. Ang problema kasi dito, pag nagkaroon ka ng isang dokumento, let's say naka-PDF yan, tapos yung signature mo, napakaklaro, in-upload online. Pag in-upload yan online, may marami tayong application that can remove actually the background and then yung ma-retain, yung signature mo lang. Pag mag-download ka ng background remover, pag mag-sign ka, kahit ano yung nasa background, ma-remove yung nasa background, ang ma-retain yung signature mo. So, pag makuha yan by somebody, by a forger, pwedeng magamit yung signature mo in producing a certain document. Kaya nga, mag-iingat po tayo in uploading documents that contains our signature. Okay? Kasi pwede yung mascan, by using an application background remover, pwedeng makuha yung signature natin. Tapos yung forger gagawa ng dokumento and then i-paste lang yung signature mo and pretend na ikaw yung nag-execute. So, that's one of the complications in our technology right now. This can be used to forge signatures, change text, or create entirely new documents that appear to be authentic. Kaya nga po, pag mag-upload tayo online na may signature, dapat yung mga signature natin, dapat naka-blurry yan or dapat naka-erase yan, half of it, para hindi po ma-forge. Okay? So, 5 ha. Again, I'd like to review, mga kadete ha, pag simple, forgery, walang model. Sa simulated, may model ka. Sa traced, may model ka. Sa simulated, ibig sabihin, you simulate. Okay? Ang pag-simulate natin, pwedeng gumamit tayo ng pencil. After the pencil, nilagyan natin ng ink. Or number 2, ink lang ka, diretso. Or pwede din po, nagpa-practice ka muna. After na perfect mo na, gumamit ka ng dokumento, doon ka na mag-sign. Okay, simulated ha. Pag tracing, ano ang ginagamit natin? Pwede transmitted light, pwede din pong carbon paper. Tinitrace natin yung detalye ng signature ng isang tao. Okay, ang tawag diyan, traced forgery. Pwede din po itong forgery by means of stamp facsimile. And then the last one is yung forgery by means of computer scanning. Okay? Now, what are the crimes called forgeries under the law? Number 1, forging the seal of the government. Nako, bawal na bawal yan. Signature or stamp of the chief executive or yung sa presidente, bawal po yan. Counterfeiting coins. By the way, sa counterfeiting of coins, ang batas po natin will extend to other countries. For example, pag may isang Pinoy nag-counterfeit ng currency po natin doon sa Amerika, again, our laws will apply to him even if he is doing the counterfeiting in America. So, yung mga coins natin, kina-counterfeit mo to make it appear as if it is genuine. Mutilation of coins, bawal din po yan. Forging treasury or banknotes or other documents payable to the bearer. Counterfeiting instruments not payable to the bearer. Falsification of legislative documents. Falsification by public officer, employee or notary or ecclesiastical minister. Falsification by private individuals, falsification of wireless cable, telegraph, and telephone messages, falsification of medical certificates of merit or service. Ito, these are crimes called forgeries. Okay? So, para maging familiar po tayo. Sunod, puntahan natin itong mga proseso para ma-detect itong tinatawag nating forgery. Ano ba itong forgery detection? It is just a process of identifying alterations or additions to documents or signatures to determine their authenticity. So, it involves scrutinizing. Ano ibig sabihin ng scrutinizing? I-inspection mo, detalye by detalye, to assess various aspects of the document. Like the handwriting, yung ginamit niya na ink, yung papel, at saka iba't ibang features. The goal is to ascertain whether the document is altered or to determine whether the signature is genuine or not. Okay? So, unang stage po dito sa pag-determine or sa pag-identify ng forgery is initial examination and analysis. Sa initial examination and analysis, you can use 2 types. Una, visual inspection. Ano ba yung visual inspection? Ibig sabihin, gumamit ka lang ng mata mo. Okay? Ginamitan mo lang ng mata mo, preliminary examination is conducted para malaman po natin pag may mga inconsistencies ba sa kanyang handwriting, sa kanyang pen pressure, sa kanyang ink or ink color. Then, pag okay yung visual inspection, pwede ka din pong gagawa ng microscopic analysis. Dito, gagamit ka po ng microscope to find out the same details, such as pen lifts, erasures, so on and so forth. Nasa unang stage ka pa lang, initial examination and analysis. Anong purpose ng initial examination? pag-determine kung mayroon bang inconsistencies, alterations, erasions, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, after the second stage, gagamit ka ngayon na tinatawag nating advanced technique. Sa advanced technique, mga kadete, if you can still remember, I mentioned this one in police photography, yung tinatawag nating infrared photography. Pag infrared photography kasi, mga kadete, it will actually reveal the alterations or additions that are not visible under the normal light condition. Nilagyan ko na po ng example. Let us say, ang nakalagay dito, altered entry niya is IOU 20,000 dollars po. Okay? Pero pag ginamitan natin ng infrared photography, ang lalabas dyan, nagkaroon ng additions itong kama at saka itong 3 zero. Tingnan nyo po ang slide. Isang kama at saka yung 3 zero at saka yung may point 0.00. Kaya pag titingnan yung altered entry, nagiging 20,000 na. Supposedly, that's only going to be 2,000. Yung original is IOU $2,000. Pero nilagyan mo nag-add ka ng 3 zero 0 tapos sa point, then 00. So, naging 20,000 na. So, mas malaki-laki yung makukuha mo pag lumusot ka. Pero by using infrared photography, talagang malalaman yung mga additional na mga marka. So, dito, by using this advanced technique, you can actually declare that this document is an altered or is a forged one. Okay? Pwede din pong gumamit ka ng chromatography in order to analyze the chemical composition of the ink to identify differences or inconsistencies. Kahit the same black ball pen yan. Kahit the same black ball pen, nako, iba-iba yung posible yung composition or yung ingredients dyan sa pag-produce ng black color. So by using chromatography, you can identify the chemical composition of the ink. To find out, pag different pa for example, yung 3 zero, iba yung ink composition niya compared to the other original zeros. So that will actually tell. Next, itong digital image processing. This is a computer-based analysis that can be used to identify features like the noise patterns, the image compression artifacts, or inconsistencies sa image quality ng isang handwriting. Okay? So, yun po stage 2, advanced techniques. Then, after stage 2, we have stage 3, handwriting and signature analysis. Dalawang features ang dapat i-examine dito. Una, itong static. Pangalawa, itong dynamic. Ano ba itong static features? Ito yung features that can be seen visually. Makikita mismo. Pag the moment you take a look at it, makikita agad. Such as yung proportion ng letter, or ibig sabihin ng proportion ng letter, yung size ng letter, yung slant, tsaka yung overall shape of the signature. Pero itong dynamic features, ito yung hindi makikita agad using your eyes. Pwede pong gagamitan mo ng mga equipment. Okay? Specialized tools. Makikita mo yung speed, acceleration, tsaka yung pressure sa pagsulat. Yun po ang pagkakaiba sa dalawa. Static, automatic, makakita ka agad. Pero yung dynamic, gagamit ka pa ng mga equipment para at least ma-examine yung details niya. Now, after handwriting ang signature analysis, punta na tayo sa comparison with known samples. Okay? Again, i-compare mo yung exemplar. Yung example, yun po ang standard, yun ang authentic with the question specimen. Okay? Yung authentic, i-compare mo sa question specimen. Okay? Authentic signature, comparing the question signature with non-authentic signatures can reveal differences or inconsistencies. And then, ink analysis, you compare the ink used in the question document and the ink used from a known document. That will also help you identify the forgery. After that, you proceed with stage 5, additional methods. Ano ba itong mga additional methods? Una, paper fiber analysis. Yung dokumento na ginagamit. Examining the paper fibers can help determine if a document has been altered or not. For example, yung date nakalagay 1978, April 10, 1978. Tinignan mo yung papel na ginagamit, yung paper fiber. Nako, yung paper fiber, bagong-bago. Ha? Bagong-bago, bond paper. Bond paper, A4. Ha? Pero yung date, 1978. Yung date na 1978, does it correlate with the material used? Of course not. Especially, pag yung signature, hindi na po siya blotted. Okay? Ang mangyayari po kasi, pag in the passage of time, for example, 1978, at tapos yung day of examination mo is 2025, you can actually observe that the ink signature tends to depreciate in its quality. Magpi-fade yan. Okay? Magpi-fade. Pero pag fresh na fresh, pero on date 1978, that will tell you that the signature is fraudulent. Much more if the paper fiber is not aligned with the date of the document. Printing techniques, analyzing printing techniques can reveal if a document has been altered or if it has been printed from a different source. Pag printer po ang ginagamit. Next, interpretation. Ito yung pinakalas, interpretation and reporting. O dito, magkaroon ng expert analysis by the forensic document examiner. Mag-i-interpret siya sa findings and then he will provide a report to declare whether the particular document or particular signature is authentic or not. Okay? Tapos, kasali po dito, ito yung mga legal implications. Okay? Legal implications, pwedeng magagamit in a legal proceeding, pwede din pong magagamit in order to file a criminal complaint against the forger. Yun po ang mga proseso natin sa pag-detect ng forgery. Okay? Next. Counterfeiting naman tayo. Counterfeit identification. What is counterfeiting? It is the crime of making, circulating, or uttering false coins and banknotes. Okay? Literally, it means to make a copy of or to imitate to make it spurious. Ang counterfeiting po, nag-a-apply po ito on banknotes. For example, cheque, yung bills natin, 100 pesos, 50 pesos, 1,000 pesos, kina-counterfeit. It's a form of forgery. Pero yung counterfeiting po, mag-a-apply siya specifically on the banknotes. Kung hindi banknotes, mag-a-apply din po ito sa mga coins. Okay, currency po natin. Yung 10 pesos, 5 pesos, 1 peso, so on and so forth. Okay? Yung forgery, it can be applied on the signature. It can be applied to alter documents. Pero itong counterfeit identification, mag-a-apply po siya again on our currency. Yung coins at saka yung banknotes. Okay? When is a coin false or counterfeited? A coin is false or counterfeited if it is forged or if it is not authorized by the government as a legal tender. Sabihin ng legal tender, yung binabayad po natin regardless of its intrinsic value. Okay? Kahit ano yan, made of gold yan, hindi pwede yan gagamitin natin as yung coin na kina-counterfeit mo. Counterfeited coin, made of gold. Pag hindi yan insakto, pag hindi yan acceptable under our law, it can be still considered as false coin or counterfeited coin. Okay? Next. So what is counterfeited? The term counterfeiting in the Philippines can apply to a wide range of items, including again, yung currency natin, banknotes or coins. Sunod, instrument of credit, forging or imitating treasury notes, mga cheque, or other documents of credit, yung mga utang, other items. Counterfeiting can also extend to like drugs. Kasali din po yung art and other goods where false imitation is passed off as genuine. Now, paano po ba i-identify yung counterfeited document? So, dito po kasi pag banknote siya or yung mga driver's licenses po natin, may mga security features po yan. So, pag pera po, pag currency natin, for example, 1,000 pesos bill, ang recommendation po ng Central Bank of the Philippines would be fill, look, and tilt. Ano ba itong fill? Examine the paper for tactile features like raised printing, security threads niya, and tactile marks. Look, inspect for clear windows, metallic elements, detailed designs, and security fibers. Tilt, observe a color shifting ink, concealed value, and other dynamic effects on the bill. So ito po yung procedure na ni-recommend po ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Feel, look, and tilt. May mga watermarks ang isang pera, may mga watermarks yan. So, you can easily identify if it is a counterfeited currency by using ultraviolet photography, ultraviolet rays of light. So, doon po ma-reveal lahat po ng security features ng isang pera. So, if you do not have the ultraviolet, you need to feel yung mga features niya, for example, yung thread niya, yung tactile marks niya, yung paper niya, then look, inspect for, pag isang coin yan, metallic elements niya, yung detailed design niya ng pera, and then you tilt, look for the color shifting ink, concealed value, so on and so forth. Pag ang pera inilagay doon sa, for example, 1,000 pesos, pag inilagay mo ang 1,000 pesos sa isang ultraviolet rays of light, may magpapakita na isang number that will represent 1,000 pesos. Pero pag wala yung ultraviolet rays of light, you cannot see it. Okay? So, basically, yan po ang recommendation ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. For other documents na may mga security features, like for example, for driver's licenses, una po is visual inspection. Dito po, examine natin yung mga inconsistencies in printing. Yung quality, yung font na ginagamit, tsaka yung layout. And then yung security features niya, yung mga holograms, may watermarks din po. Another specific features po ang mga lisensya po natin. Light transmittance for some documents like driver's license, shine a light on a document to check for the correct light transmittance and halo effect. Paggamit tayo ng light, doon po natin makikita talaga yung features na nakalagay doon, LTO, Land Transportation of the Philippines. Okay? So, yun po ang proseso. Lastly, mga cadets, may mga equipment po tayo na ginagamit po sa question document examination. I'd like you to familiarize this kasi po, may mga instances na sa board examination, picture lang yung makikita natin. Tapos, the number will ask us on what is the name of that particular picture. Okay? For example, yung sa forensic photography, lumabas doon yung tripod. Very easy lang. Sa forensic ballistics, lumabas din po yung characteristics of cartridges according to the rim. Lumabas din po. Helixometer, lumabas yan. Okay? So, pag magnifying lens, napaka-easy. Right? It's very easy. So, ang magnifying lens, that will help us magnify details. Details that cannot be seen by our naked eye. Mayroon din po tayong tinatawag na stereoscopic binocular microscope. Nagpo-provide po ito ng 3D view that enhances the ability to analyze intricate details of a document. So, between magnifying and stereoscopic binocular microscope, mas okay po itong pangalawa kasi it will reveal certain minute details of the document. Mayroon din po tayong tinatawag na comparison microscope that will help simultaneously view two images at the same time. For example, sa isang panig, andun yung exemplar, sa isang panig, andun yung question signature. Para malaman, ma-identify natin yung dalawa if they are really similar or not. To help us illuminate, para may saktong light or ilaw during our examination, may tinatawag tayong ghost neck or tinatawag din po itong table lamps with adjustable shades. Ma-adjust natin para at least ma-illuminate natin during our examination. Then we also have the transmitted light devices. Just like what you can see on the screen. Yan po ang example dyan. Used to illuminate documents from behind. These devices, often light boxes with colored corrected fluorescent bulbs, allow examiners to view characteristics like watermarks, paper fibers, and indentations that might be crucial in the examination. Aside from that, ultraviolet lamps, ito ay ginagamit din po sa pag-reveal ng mga security features ng pera or sa passport. Then, importante din po ito para malaman kung may alteration ba or erasure. Aside from that, may tinatawag din po tayong infrared viewers. Ano ang purpose ng infrared viewers? Para ma-reveal yung hidden or altered writing. Gumagamit ito ng infrared photography. Yun po ang example na na-cite ko po kanina, gumagamit po ng infrared photography. Sunod, itong shadow graphs. Ang shadow graph, ito po'y isang equipment, a pictorial image formed by casting a shadow typically of a hand or object onto a surface or screen. Ang purpose po ng shadow graph para ma-visualize po at ma-analyze yung mga shape at saka yung forma ng objects of handwriting. Para by highlighting their contours. Ano ba itong contours? Ito yung mga outline. Okay? Outline ng isang handwriting. Okay? Sunod, aside from shadow graph, we also have the so-called ESDA or electrostatic detection apparatus. Ano ang purpose nito? Reveals indented writing impression on documents. Huwag niyong kalimutan na, lumabas ito sa board examination. Electrostatic detection apparatus or ESDA, nagre-reveal yan ng indented writing impression on document. Okay? Then, the last one is the so-called test plates. Ang test plates, mga kadete, ang purpose lang po niyan is measurement. Okay? Pag measurement po, wag na po kayong mag-select ng ibang choices. Ang i-select nyo po is test plates. Ano ang purpose niya? Measurement. Okay? Ano ang i-measure? Yung height, yung width, yung spacing, yung angle of the handwriting. Okay? Yun po ang mga equipment na ginagamit po sa question document examination. Yun na po lahat, mga kadete, ang mga topics under question document examination. I prayed and I hope na mayroon pa akong contribution in your preparation for the board examination. At the same time, I hope I was able to shed light sa lahat po ng mga topics na makikita natin sa table of specification under question document examination subject. Maraming salamat po for advocating Bicoyno. I hope everyone will share our videos. God bless po. Ingat po ang lahat and good luck and God bless po sa mag-take ng board examination.